close those cabin doors. This video is meant to fill the place between the last videos we made and the next we made. We had quite an experience in the past 3 days, and I wanted to tell you about it. It's late at night, way later than most live streams. I'm kind of intending this video, though, primarily just to fill people in, even for people who don't watch live. So it's going to be a little unique. What we're going to do, we're going to not interact a ton with the live chat. We're happy y'all are here, but I want to get through this story, and then I think at the end we'll interact some, and we'll actually, at the very end of the video, we'll interact. Probably we'll be on here no more, probably 30 minutes is what I want to shoot for. I want to share this little story. It started on Tuesday. I was at work, and I learned about this very unfortunate series of events that was happening by phone and by text. And I'm going to kind of tell it from my perspective. We're going to leave out a lot of details because you don't want to know all the details. So the first text I got from Briana was, actually I should just read my text. I know my phone is dead. Was, I'm really sick. The kids are sick too. So I was at work.
Was that your first text I sent?
She had driven to my parents' house.
An hour away. I was an hour away from my house.
An hour away from our house. And one of our kids threw up on the way, which when you have a bunch of kids, you don't think a whole lot of that.
Well, I called your mom and said, this kid just threw up, but I'm only like 10 minutes away. Do you want me to go home or still come over? And she said, oh, it's fine. Just come on over.
So Briana went over and dropped the kids off. She was going to drop them off and run a few errands in town in Asheville. And Briana dropped the kids off and had the baby and started running on her errands and realized she was getting sick as well.
Yeah, I got like halfway to my first errand, which was like 10 minutes away. And I was like, oh no. And I started to feel like I was gonna throw up. So I said, I need to go home right now. So I turned around and drove back to my in-laws, picked the kids up. But as soon as I get there, my mother-in-law says, oh, Joyful just threw up again. And then Justice is also throwing up now. I was like, well, I was like, hurry up and get the kids in the car. We'll get tons of plastic bags. Everyone will just hold a plastic bag. And we'll try to make it home. We just need to be home if we're all going to be sick. But we live an hour away from them. But so we get everyone in the car. We've all got our plastic bags. Everyone has one. But I'm just like laying on the steering wheel. Like I can't even drive yet because I don't even know what happened. I've never been hit that hard in my life. I hadn't thrown up yet, but I was just so weak.
So that's the next text I got from her was, I'm sitting in the car. I'm sick. I don't know if I can drive home. And I was super busy at work. I was totally slammed. So I was like getting text messages, replying like, oh gosh, like I can't really do anything about this.
Can't do anything about it.
So Briana drove home, getting sicker and sicker, just stealing her nerves to make it through this hour drive. Now, mind you, she had not thrown up next yet.
I just kept like praying.
And this is, to me, this is kind of one of the, I don't think saying highlights of the story is fair. This is like, to me though, this is something that stands out. There's a few things that stand out. The first thing that stands out was the next text I got. And I wish I could read it to you, but
I have it.
The next text I got, she said, I just threw up while driving. This is true. This really happened.
Yeah, just threw up in the car while driving.
Yeah.
That was the next text.
And it's even worse than that. I mean, basically she's driving through our town. Fortunately, she was close to home, but she didn't make it. She was driving through our town and started throwing up while driving, stopped at the light, pulled over into a middle, like, turning lane, still not really a safe spot, and then pulled basically into someone's driveway. And I think, just to be discreet for the rest of the story, we should refer to any loss of body fluids just simply as that, loss of body fluids, because I don't want to get graphic with any of it. And I know y'all will appreciate that a lot. This is a family channel.
Exactly why saying throw up should be okay.
This was a family event. And there's only so much we're going to tell, but I'll just say that I saw things in my house that I've only seen in the hospital before.
Well, no, you're leaving a lot out. So
I'm going to leave a lot out.
Well, no, I'm sitting on the side of the road, losing body fluids in a bag. Joyful starts losing body fluids in a plastic bag. Like, these are grocery bags.
Okay, and then what Grace said, Grace never got sick through any of this. She's the only one.
She felt sick.
She told me that
didn't lose body
our
fluids.
3-year-old, through all of this, was pretending to throw up repeatedly because he thought it was funny. But she wasn't even aware of that because she was so focused on her own illness and keeping everyone safe. So he was like gagging and barfing, pretend, through the whole thing. So you made it home. You made it into the house. No, she didn't even remember, like, where she left her car keys. She didn't remember what she left in the car. She sent me out to the car, actually, yesterday and today, to check and, like, did I leave this in the car? She was just out of it. She got in to the house, and the next text I got that kind of changed things. It really we're laughing about it, but it, like, made it really serious for me. Is she texted me.
No, the next text was, if you could come home early, it would be very helpful. I am extremely sick.
Yes, wish I was aware of that.
Then the next text was, we really need some help. Really.
And the next text, read that one to me.
I just went to the bathroom and collapsed.
Okay, and so then Grace called me on the phone, my oldest daughter, and she said in a very calm, sweet voice, Dad, Mama's on the floor, which is extremely disconcerting. So, and she could not give me any details about it. She was like, I don't know. She's on the floor. So I'd asked to talk to Briana. Briana could barely talk to me. So basically, I don't think you exactly passed out, but you were in nursing, we would call this near syncope. Basically, she passed out. So what had happened is, in a very small number of hours, she'd lost so much fluid that she was hypovolemic. She was dehydrated. So it happened extremely fast. We do think, here's Good Life Farm by Cosmopolitan Cornbread says, food poisoning? Yeah, we think it was food poisoning. Because it hit basically everyone at once. By the time I started driving home, which was as fast as I could leave work after that. So after I got those texts, I told people I was working with, I was like, look, I got to go. I went and passed one more med to one patient, gave a high-speed report to 2 of my awesome coworkers who were like, no problem, just get out of here. We'll take over. I almost brought IV fluid home. Can I say that? No, I can't say that. I just said it. No. So people were saying, joking, like, take IV fluid home. I was like, no, we will go to the hospital if we need IV fluid. And I drove home as fast as I could, which was quite fast. I mean, safe. But I got home. You had already basically almost passed out again.
I think it was the third time.
And I got home and started laying down the law. I told you to quit walking to the bathroom. Yeah. Which, the thing is that we were at this point where I knew, so, like, I was okay with how she looked when she was laying down when you were dehydrated. It's like, we knew what was going on. We knew why you were almost passing out or passing out. It's because you're dehydrated. So it's just a matter of like keeping you safe in the interim. But your pulse wasn't. If your pulse was like super fast or anything, that would have been.
I don't know. I knew you were like checking things and trying to get me a drink, but I would literally like suck on a piece of ice and start just dry heaving. It was, and other things. It was awful. It was just. I've had the stomach bug. We've had the stomach bug a million times in this house, and this was different because we all got it at once. I got it the worst, so that's why we think that it was food poisoning.
Yeah,
it's because it all hit. Even he ended up getting it a few hours later. Everyone but Grace, I think.
The nurse in me feels like I should tell people that if you're passing out, you should go to the hospital. I was at that point, I was thinking I might actually be taken to the hospital, but when I saw her and it was like her pulse rate was totally fine when she was laying down, she was okay. It's pretty calm. Basically, what I told my 3-year-old, I was having a talk with my 3-year-old. I said basically, if she's not keeping down fluid, like first thing in the morning, we'll take her to the hospital. She'll need IV fluid. And so the crazy thing is the loss of body fluids, the involuntary loss of body fluids. It only lasted. I'm answering someone's question. Like it was like 6 hours. It was so short, but it was so intense and so violent. I've never actually, in my career as a nurse, I've never seen someone throw up as much as you did. Now we have meds for it in the hospital to suppress that. But I've never seen someone throw up that much. And it was so short. It was like 4 to 6 hours. Probably 6 hours.
I don't know.
Most of it was within 4 hours. It was just nonstop, extremely violent. And you had it worse. You had it worse than anyone else. So I got home. There was this one point where she was having nausea, but she was also so thirsty. She was like, get me something to drink, get me something that I can sip on. So I tried to walk to the kitchen. On the way to the kitchen, found Brighton in the bed. He'd not thrown up yet, just like in a bath of body fluids. Just so he had lost a lot of them involuntarily also. And so I took him to the bathtub. On the way to the bathtub, Joy, who was sleeping on the living room floor, she was throwing up currently. And then Briana, in the middle of that, needed to make a trip to a room in the house.
Because for more
loss of body fluids. Don't tell them.
It was all sorts of loss of body fluids.
She needed to make a trip for loss of body fluids. So all that was like all at once. This is late at night. And it was just hectic and messy and ugly. And the only ones who never got sick, thank God, was the baby.
Yes.
And Grace also, who was a great helper through all this.
Grace was so awesome. She just kept serving everyone and helping Daddy and bringing me ice because I just wanted ice on my tongue. I couldn't drink anything. I would just rub ice on my tongue.
So this was Tuesday and Tuesday evening. So I knew that the throwing up had settled down for Briana because she rested some after that. And first thing Wednesday morning, you were able to start keeping fluids down. You were drinking some. So I was very reassured. But I want to tell you, and this is why the title of the video is what it is. I've never seen her sick like this, because this is now the end of 2 days after Tuesday, 2 full days after Tuesday. She's just now getting her strength back. From that just violent 6 miserable hours.
I know, because I didn't have any more loss of body fluids after that. Not in an unusual way. Not in like the sick way. And I have yesterday, the day after the food poisoning, my head was excruciating. My lower back was excruciating. It was really weird.
I think you pulled your back, honestly. I hate to say that. I think we should just call it a period of loss. Let's see.
But I've never, and I was
back.
just so weak. I don't recall ever being that sick. Even after, so one day maybe I will finally tell Wilder's birth story, but I was pretty weak after he was born. The birth was great, but I did lose some blood and I was really weak. I couldn't get off the couch by myself for a little while, but I felt pretty darn bad yesterday. And I don't know if it was worse. And then today I felt better, but still really, really weak.
So what did we do? I learned how to make instant bone broth.
I said, go make me bone broth.
I don't even know if that's possible.
Instapot bone broth.
I threw a bunch. I didn't even tell you this. I threw a whole bunch of chicken feet.
It was just chicken feet?
Oh, I threw a chicken and then packed chicken feet around it.
Yeah, well, that's
in the
great.
Instapot. Just
I was wondering why it was
chicken
so
feet in
gelatinous.
Ton of chicken feet in there. And
It
cooked
only
it
needs, like,
for a while, and then threw a bunch of veggies in and cooked it for a while more under pressure. And so that's what you've been drinking. And you really only started eating this afternoon.
Evening,
So basically like 2 full days later. So that's kind of where we've been. I was hoping to keep posting videos, and we posted some longer videos recently, which I think is fun. We actually earn more money from it because it'll sometimes play 2 ads. And then something else, the other cool things about it is like we can be more free and less constrained in sharing
I like
our story
videos.
with the longer video. And we don't have to like be paranoid with editing. Oh, we have to pack it down into 10 minutes. And the other cool thing is it puts our watch time up, which like promotes our video more. So it throws our video up in front of more people because YouTube is very keen into watch time. Anyway, just a little note there. But
we were hoping to ride the wave of making more videos this week.
I wanted to just fill in a little gap with this live video. So I think without further ado, we're going to actually watch the live chat and answer some questions and interact with people some. I've seen a lot of you all in here. Recognize a bunch of people, and we're actually going to answer questions versus just say hi. Hi.
I do want to answer a few questions I've noticed. I want to address 2 things. People, what did I eat? I think it was either some salmon that I bought, and it was like wild caught salmon. I don't buy farmed seafood. That's what I think it was, which sucks because now my brain at least thinks that's what it was, and I love salmon. So, hey, Lorraine from Sutherland. We're just talking about how I've just never been so sick in my life. We were just telling why we haven't made videos this week because I got super, super sick. The other thing I keep seeing people saying is that it's so glad that I have a husband that's a nurse. You know, that's true because I do have extra confidence in his ability to like judge whether or not I need to go see a practitioner. But also, you guys, what you don't know about Arthur is that he has a gift of taking care of people. It's not just, well, when he's in a good mood about it at home. At the hospital, he's always good about it. But sometimes at home, he gets a little grumpy. But mostly, he has a gift of taking care of people. Whereas whenever my whole family starts vomiting everywhere and I have to take care of them, I like freak out. But he just takes care of it. And he's just really good at it. He's really good at taking care of the house or the family whenever I'm sick, which is really, really encouraging. The other thing, though, I mean, my house is totally trashed right now because we've been trying to get rid of things and move things out because we're getting ready to have to really focus on mold again. Our big, really intense, overwhelming mold issue that we have talked about, but we haven't really expressed yet how big it is. So there's stuff everywhere. It's almost like we're moving out.
I want to answer a question. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, Peaceful Inspirations, you asked a question. Why did you just not stay at your in-laws?
Oh.
Well, just a second. I want to answer that question.
That's a good question. Why didn't I? I didn't think I was going to get... No, I guess I was sick already.
I guess I'd like to make an in-law joke if I can do that here. And my in-law joke would just be like, you must really like your in-laws, Peaceful Inspirations.
I really like my in-laws.
You like your in-laws.
I do.
You must be really comfortable with them. So liking them is one thing, but you like your in-laws, and my parents are awesome. But vomiting over and over and over again in their house is another thing. Like crashing in their house.
Well, I was willing to have a baby at their house.
That's actually true. Yeah. We actually arranged to have one of our kids at their house.
We didn't have it there.
And then we changed our mind. So that's nothing against my parents, but
I don't know. Something in me was just like, I just need to go home.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider staying there. I could have. She would have left me.
Honestly, you might have had a better experience if you did, because the whole vomiting in the car thing was
awful.
Terrible for you.
Driving. That was one of the worst drives of my life.
So maybe that would have been the better choice.
Yeah.
It would have been a family event for sure. Then.
I don't know. I guess in my mind, because maybe just subconsciously, I'm always thinking we have to go home because we have animals. Maybe that's what I was subconsciously thinking, though. I know I'm not going to do anything with them when I get home because I'm super sick. I don't know. I don't know why I went home. Someone says maybe I didn't want to get his parents sick. That's true. Though she had told me after a few people had thrown up at her house that, like, she didn't say, hey, you can stay here, but she did say, like, I don't have anything I have to do this week, so if I get sick, it's not a big deal. She did tell me that.
180 degrees from average asks how the mold issue is coming along. I'm not going to go into great detail in this video because I feel like I just feel like it's take too much time. Basically, we have these air filters going, which I think is making a difference. I know you can't exactly tell, but that's not the solution by any means. And we are basically digging into what we're going to have to do to get this fixed right. And there's a list of like 12 jobs that we know need to happen. And so we're trying to figure out how much it's going to cost.
We're getting estimates.
And how much of it I can do myself.
Yeah.
And really, probably more importantly, how much we're going to decide to try to take on. Like how much is be reasonable to think, okay, I could do this, let's say in a reasonable amount of time, like a month. Because I don't want this to be a 6-month or like a winter-long project. So we're kind of in the middle of that. I do definitely think that it is more and more. The more we look at it, we know we have to take care of it.
It's just
specifically because of our kids' breathing issues, and the more we read, we don't know that's what's causing them, but it's very suspicious and close to the top of our list for like what is possibly driving those if there is an allergen cause behind it. So that's that.
Is there a way to get better lighting on this?
No, we're almost done.
Can you back up a little?
Sure.
I just want to read the comments. Is that where you're supposed to?
I just like how my face looks.
I just want to be close to you, though. I feel like you're like over there, and I'm like over here. It looks like we don't like each other.
I was enjoying looking at my face and screen.
Oh.
So Pale Horse Rider is talking about growing macaroni.
Can you sit up?
Can someone help me? How do you grow macaroni? 5 pounds of macaroni from 3 plants.
Talking about a plant.
We love macaroni. So if someone can fill me in, who knows? Google macaroni. Actually, don't. Someone in live chat, tell me what macaroni plants are, because I'm lost. Pale Horse Rider. Is it a joke, or are you really? Is it a plant that you're growing? Okay, we'll wait for him. So basically, we've been knocked out because there was just no way I was making videos about this topic, and we were just totally slammed yesterday. I guess I could have today. Well, we were busy with other stuff today. Go ahead.
Well, I had a responsibility that I couldn't fulfill because I was sick on the couch, and so Arthur had to go fulfill that for me. So he couldn't film a video because he had to take the kids with him and do it. Yeah, I didn't get off the couch. He was like, he got back. He was like, "How was your time?" I was like, "I haven't got off the couch except to use the bathroom," because he was gone the whole day. Yeah, I just drank bone broth that he left me in water.
Mm-hmm. So that's the story. I mean, when she texted me the two texts, the first one that she was throwing up in the car, and the second one that she was on the floor. Those were the moments that I will probably remember when I was like, oh my gosh, this is not just a small illness. This is a big deal. But fortunately, we got through it, and we're doing great. And I think that's it.
Let's let people ask us questions.
Ask us some questions, guys. We'll pick some and answer them.
This is the most active I've been all day, and I'm like starting to get shaky. Isn't that funny?
Getting to go to bed. So, Pale Horse Rider. I tried growing spaghetti trees. They kept falling over. Lots of love. Just playing, guys. You're great people. Why am I reading these comments? I mean, it's fun, but it's just what caught
What
my
are we
eye.
planting for fall? I don't know. I mean, honestly, like our lives on the homestead, like we had a whole vision for our fall garden. But that kind of stuff is honestly on serious hold right now. We have a huge mold issue in our house, and
Wait, Sutherland said hi, guys.
hi, Sutherland.
Wait, that must be Jason.
It's Jason.
Are you all watching in different rooms? Is she on her account?
Well, it's like she's watching some on her phone, and he's on the computer or something.
That's great.
So, anyways, it's heartbreaking to me that because this was the year that we were going to have spring, summer, and fall garden, and like really complete the vision that we've always had of having a 3-season, maybe even almost a 4-season garden, because we were going to do hoop houses over some of our produce to keep it into the winter. Maybe we'll get some greens in and get to eat greens.
So the short answer is we have a tarp. It's covering 3 beds right now. We're going to pull that tarp back and plant at least those 3 beds with greens. Yeah, definitely. That's easy.
It is easy when you have like time to walk out the door and go in the garden and plant it.
This is why live videos are fun for you. She likes them too. I actually enjoy them, but this is why they're extra fun for you, because you can see us argue where she says something and I say something. It's like, what? Wait a second, we'll talk. We'll make a video about this in a few days. Once we agree on it.
Someone says we have a couple weeks left for fall planting. We actually don't where we live. We're up in the mountains, and so our growing zone is a lot different than the other homesteader channels that you see us interact with. We have a very different growing zone. We could plant greens, I think, but I think we're too late for everything else. We could try it. You never know. If we get a late frost, it would be fine.
We'll be fine with green. It's just all about how long your days are and how much you're going to grow out.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do like 60 or 80 heads of broccoli. That was like one of my goals. To freeze, because we eat a lot of broccoli in the winter, frozen broccoli. I also wanted to do our winter's worth of carrots. Things like that aren't happening, but probably a better greens for sure will. People keep asking why not breed stud muffin to our cow. Well, because logistically, it's just impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, but it would be really hard. I wouldn't want to take our cow to them because she has 2 calves that would need to go with her. And that would be very stressful on them, because they would have 3 extra cows to deal with. And they would, honestly, if we asked them, they would say yes. But I wouldn't ask, because I know the level of stress it would put them under, as just having 3 more giant livestock on your property that you don't personally know and have a relationship with would be really hard. Especially because they like move their cows every day. It's just different than just putting them out in a field. And we can't bring stud muffin here because they need him to be their stud. And also, I don't know how I feel about having an unknown bull in my pasture. I mean, I don't feel comfortable with it. Even though he is really chill. And I'm not saying it'll never happen, but at least for now, I don't know. I mean, they're so kind and generous, I'm sure they would probably say yes. But it's just not something I would ever ask of them for all sorts of reasons.
What did Briana say about the string trimmer modification experiment?
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to tell you really fast backstory. I decided I was tired of loading my string trimmer with plastic string. That's the stuff that actually cuts the grass, spins it in a circle. So I put this really strong high tensile steel wire in there. Made sure no one else was around. I knew it was a little dangerous. But anyway, long story short, it broke off. You got to see the video. It came off, I don't know how many hundreds of miles per hour, real fast, and went straight into the sole of my boot, like across into the sole. It would have gone straight through my boot into my foot. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty scary.
I didn't say anything. I mean, he said, I didn't experiment, but you'll have to wait and see what it was. I didn't experiment. It was really dangerous, and it failed. And you're going to have to wait to see what it was in tomorrow's video. I think you actually said that to me on the video.
Yeah, I did.
So then when I saw it, I guess I just wasn't as surprised because he had kind of warned me that this dangerous thing he had done already.
So, Pale Horse Rider. I don't know who you are, Pale Horse Rider, but I keep reading your comments. It's a good name, I guess. Have you ever tried sumac tree or chaga and then 180 degrees from average says they have chaga there? We actually, so chaga is a fungi that grows on birch trees. And it's all over like Eastern Europe and in Russia, and it has reputed powers to heal cancer and boost your immune system dramatically. Some people might not know this, but it actually grows here in the highest of the mountains, and so you can actually go out and harvest it here. So I have friends who brought it to us, and we've made tea out of it before.
Tastes awful.
Yeah. It's great. Why not? We already mentioned it in the video.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. I haven't seen a single comment about it.
I've seen them over and over.
Are they asking if we're going?
No, they're asking like how we feel about it. Are we excited?
How do we feel about the Heirloom Expo in California?
We are going to we were invited to the Heirloom Expo in California, which we are so excited about. And yeah, I'm just so excited to get to be a part of what Baker Creek is doing. I have talked to them a lot, and I have just never met such kind, generous people. And I'm excited to get to be with a lot of our friends out there, but I'm also excited to meet some old friends like Jess from Roots and Refuge. We haven't seen her in almost a year now, so it'll be really cool to get to meet up and just see how she's doing, and to meet new friends. And I guess there's going to be like a YouTube tent there. So if you guys are going to that Heirloom Expo, find the YouTube tent. We'd love to meet you. We would love it. It's like one of the best parts about having a YouTube channel is live chatting and meeting people, because you guys see us all the time, but meeting you guys in person and hearing your stories is like, I just love it. It makes me so happy.
I'm basically, so if you're going to the Baker Creek Expo in California next month, just to let you know, I'm basically planning on just talking to people. That's my plan. So the plan is to hang out with you guys, whoever's going to be there, and with her. I'm going to try to not get sidetracked by meeting people who are people like, I want to focus on talking to people and hanging out with you, because it's kind of a date.
Yeah, it is kind of a date.
But basically, I don't want to get sidetracked by going to
speakers,
I've just learned, because we've gone to a few events before, I've learned that if you try to talk to people and go do something else, it just does not work. So I really want to focus on just talking to people. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Someone asked if we're excited about speaking. No, I'm not excited about speaking. And it's not because I'm afraid of public speaking. It's because I don't know what to talk about. Do you know what we're going to talk about?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'll fill you in.
Thank you. And then someone asked about, is our farm cheaper in providing for us than buying from the market? So I think, once you have your infrastructure in, it's a lot cheaper. But the infrastructure is really expensive. So that can make it make sense why like family farms passed down through generations like make a lot of sense, because the infrastructure is there, the livestock is there, or even if it's not passed down, even if kids break away and start their own farms, they're probably sent off with like a good couple of breeding heifers, and a good bull and things like that.
You missed the first part of that question.
I didn't want to read that part of that question.
The first part of the question is, how do we feel about being the best video producers on YouTube? Which we don't feel about that, because it's honestly just objectively not true. So
Jason Contreras at Sow the Land is actually...
He's very, very good.
Very good. He has some of the most beautiful videos on YouTube.
But a lot of people have better produced videos than us at this point, and I'm okay with that. I'd like to up my game a little bit in that department. That's okay though. Like, what we've realized is that's not our place right now, and we're here to tell a story. Thus, this kind of goofy live video just stuck in the middle. Like, I think if anything, we've realized like the value that we have to bring right now is telling our story, and then how does that work? And when you look at like even the ministry of Jesus, and he told a ton of stories, and not all of them had application for the crowd, but a lot of them touched people. I'm sure didn't hear the kind of behind the scenes application, but we know he told us a lot of stories, and I feel like that's like kind of what we see in this that we were actually supposed to be doing. Yeah, I mean, we edit our videos, but it's like, gosh, I mean, some of the Justin's videos I've seen recently,
really
editing, yeah, super good editing. He's gotten way better. He's gotten super, super good.
Have we changed our stance on video games? I mean, like playing them?
No, we're still against them.
Well, I would say we're against them, but we will never have video games. I mean, watch me say that and then just have them. I plan to never have video games in my house.
Yeah, we don't 100% agree, but we kind of agree on the core of it. I don't like them. I don't like them at all.
Any more simple questions?
So yeah, don't make them too hard, folks.
Are we going to have videos of the trip? I don't know, because it's going to just be us standing around talking to people. So we may do some like live videos, I think might be the way, and like maybe do like a video of going, a video of coming home, and maybe like a live in the middle. It's not a very long trip.
Where's her moderators?
We don't have any. I'm the moderator. Did I miss something?
No, you didn't. I just think it's funny that we've got this argument going on about whether this person is a troll. It's like,
who's a troll?
No one's a troll. No, I'm not saying anyone's a troll. I shouldn't even bring attention to it. I just think it's a funny argument. Anyway, folks, this is live streaming. It can be really fun. And I think we're going to sign off. It's been about 38 minutes. I appreciate y'all joining. We've kept y'all up. Some of you passed your bedtimes, and I'm so sorry for that. A lot of people are in other time zones. It's like 8 o'clock. This is past my bedtime. I have heard of ozone generator. I don't think it's the solution for us, but we're still learning.
Hey, Ricketts, I did get my oils, and I've been planning to write to you and say thank you. They are literally in my car where I left them, because that was one of the errands I went to run when I got sick the other day. Was can you get those for me out of the car? I will actually smelled them all this morning. Ricketts Family Farm sent me some essential oils to use during our stressful time. with the mold, and I went and got them from the P.O. box, and that was the day I got really sick and like just left everything in the car. So I'm sorry I haven't messaged you yet, but I will. Thank you.
The car's in the shade. Did you know that? So guys, I'm so sorry. This is live chat. Sorry for the replay. You can insert an ad anywhere in here. That would be just mean, wouldn't it?
Like right now, you would add an ad?
I can just go bam and hit add an ad. I've never done that.
That would make it not fun.
Y'all are gonna hate me.
No, don't do it. Don't.
No, okay.
I want to talk.
Okay, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. What's something fun we can talk about for 5 minutes? That's just like a light topic.
Chickens eating tomatoes.
I haven't even been in the garden in 3 days. I'm like so terrified to go there and see how many tomatoes they've
Okay,
eaten.
the joke is that that's a light topic for me. It's not a light topic for her. That's like a heavy topic for her.
Makes me so mad.
Chickens eating tomatoes in the garden, that's like just dragging her down. For me, I think it's hilarious because chickens are only so tall. They can stand on their tiptoes and just do little jumps all day long.
They can jump pretty high.
And they can only get 2 feet up the plants, but the plants are 6 feet tall. So the joke is on the chickens because in the end, they get a snack and we're going to get all the tomatoes we want.
Someone asked me if I can. There's certain things that I like to can. Tomatoes, like tomato sauce, salsa, diced tomatoes, jams. What else? Apple butter. Oh, that's one of the things I'm sad about with mold is like I had this plan to do 100 quarts of applesauce and like 20 pints of maybe 2 dozen pints of apple butter, and there's no way that's going to happen. I mean, it could, but most likely it's not going to happen now because of the mold stuff. But yeah, so no, I typically freeze though. That's what I like to do. We don't really like canned food. Now I get it, like if we were like trying to survive the apocalypse, like I would need to can. But we don't actually like to eat it. So right now, while we're not having an apocalypse, then we just freeze it. And also it takes up less freezer space and you don't have to use plastic. So all those things are good, but we don't like canned food. So if my kids, like, if we don't eat it, there's no point in going to all that trouble. So I'm not going to, I like freezing. If I ever have like an outdoor place to can, I would be more into it. But then like we wouldn't eat it. It's fun seeing all the jars on though.
It's really nice.
I know, it makes you feel so like special and accomplished.
Folks, thanks so much for joining us for this late night live stream as we told the story. We're going to get off now and go to bed. It's not an editing night, so I don't have anything else to do tonight. But thanks a lot. Thanks for showing up, and we'll see. We'll have a video coming out. Probably be day after. It'll probably be day after. It should be Saturday. So
thanks for being our awesome viewers. We just appreciate you guys. It is so fun to just take a minute and interact with you a little bit, even though I can't see your lovely faces.
And you can barely see ours.
You can barely see ours.
We need to try your phone. I think your phone has a better camera. Anyway, we'll look into that. Or
just better lighting, honey.
Better lighting. All right.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you so much.
Bye.
This has been fun, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Yes.